Hi everyone, my name is Rish. I am a Year 2 Computer Science and Math student.
My name is Edward. I'm a Year 2 Business Analytics student in NUS School of Computing.
Hi, I'm Yuming. I'm a Year 2 CS student.
I'm Jeng, pronounced like Jenga without an A. I'm a Year 1 CS student and we are both in Temasek Hall. Yeah.
I play the electric guitar. I'm a huge metal and rock fan. Iron Maiden, Metallica, I love to play along with their songs. I think most of the time you can find me scrolling through memes on Twitter or Reddit. So I love reading books, mainly on like productivity, mindset, stuff like that. Really gets me thinking, like questioning my own beliefs and helping me plan the future. Yeah, I'd love to take walks now and then. I call them brainstorming sessions. Usually ideas, the best ideas come when you don't expect them. Right. It's usually the aha moments. Yeah, go for walks, especially as a computing student. Go for walks. Yes.
I'm a part-time magician, so I do corporate magic shows outside. And I also recently started doing getting into cycling this year. Yeah, I'm slowly trying to kind of build up towards a triathlon. Yeah, so for me, I stay hall, so I'm in Temasek Hall. Yeah, so I'm in swim, and then I'm training quite a bit.
Hobbies like tennis or Yuming and I are also part of a CCA called Threshold where we make music in a band. I also take part in other cultural CCAs like the Vox, which is our choir. And also I'm in DP with him, the dance production. We have one item together. And other than that, making music. Yeah, just for fun. He makes really good mixes on his own. He's really a one-man band.
Put the Spotify link or something.
Oh, he hasn't made it public.
Links
in.
It's actually a simple answer because I grew up in a very technology-focused household, right? My grandfather was in tech and my father was in tech, so naturally it's kind of like passing down the torch of sorts.
Did they like?
Growing up, I grew up. My dad used to come home. He used to plug in his laptop into the big screens, and I'd see a bunch of charts and code and all that fun stuff, all those colorful things, and it was very easy to get inspired by that. Sometimes he'd drag me in next to his desk, and he's like, okay, this does this. So growing up in the midst of a very tech-savvy household, that was it was very easy to get into it. And my father, he taught me my first programming language at I guess 12. He taught me C. Wouldn't recommend it, but yeah, he taught me C.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
It's a good foundation.
Yeah, it is. No, definitely. It really teaches you the nitty-gritty details of programming. It really helps you understand. And then after that, definitely there were times where I felt like a huge loser, right? Like sometimes I wouldn't get stuff. Sometimes there were periods of very slow development, slow progress. It would get really frustrating. But I think one thing that really helped was having that strong motivation or motivator, which was my father at the time. Sometimes you have external motivators, and very soon it develops to intrinsic, self-born motivation that you yourself want to do it for yourself.
Yeah, for me, I guess it all starts with card tricks, right? For most of us, I started doing magic in secondary school, and it kind of started because of a card trick. Yeah, then I got.
Or you saw someone do it, or?
Yeah, so back then it was about 2016, 2015. Then Amazon was on the roll. Everyone was like, oh, from Amazon. Yeah, so I kind of asked my friend because he was asking around saying who wants to buy stuff, come order together, then we can split the shipping. Yeah, so he recommended this cool magic deck called Invisible Deck. Yeah, and after I bought it, it came.
Put the picture over here.
Yeah, can put it in the. Yeah, then ever since then I've been hooked.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was really fun.
For me, in general, music as a hobby started out when I started taking piano lessons as a kid. So I think I was at most 4 or 5 years old. And those kind of Asian kids need to take piano lessons. I know a lot of people they say they don't like it, but I think for me I was sort of neutral to it. And then as I grew up, I came to like it more because I realized that it's a good way to distress and also like express your emotions and stuff in your playing. And then along the years, I started trying other instruments because of like I joined the school band. I play the flute. For drum and guitar, I sort of picked it up during my NS days. In the school band, I took interest to the drums because I see the drummer back there like enjoying himself and quite cool. You know, like. Then sometimes I just go back there and try myself. And actually it's quite fun. So like in 2018, end of the year, like during my NS, then I bought a electronic drum set. So I at home just play around sometimes when I book out. Yeah, so from there, that's not my interest for drums also. Yeah, so joining Threshold was my number one goal when coming to Temasek. Yeah, and it's been a good time so far. Yeah, I can come and play an actual drum set. Okay, so
Did you mention that you sing also?
yeah,
His
my
voice.
voice,
He can do.
That's a very powerful instrument, you know.
He does the screaming.
Oh no, that one's try only.
Yeah, but because he's in box also, so
Uh,
you have to say that you sing also.
yes, I sing bass because no, I sing soprano. I definitely sing soprano. Yeah.
Actually, I started music. I think all Asian kids, their parents try to ask us to start pretty young. So I joined in primary school, but I really hated the guitar. So I played for about 1-2 months, then I quit the CCA. Then I never touched music for the next few years. I think I only picked up the guitar properly in about P6. It's because I listened to Sang Ha Jung on YouTube and I really like his fingerstyle. So that got me into fingerstyle guitar. That's what I fell in love with at first. So I started the classical, then moved on to acoustic. Then when I moved on to secondary school, I went to SGI. Then there was a military band, so I also joined the military band. I played saxophone there, so that further allowed me to pursue my interest in music. I really immersed in it. And then, there are a few people in my class who were interested to start a band, a this kind of band. So I picked up the bass, and from then on we were together for the next few years. And then with the bass, because you're in a band setting, at times you play around. So from the bass you move on to the electric guitar, then you play the drums here and there, or you try the keys here and there. It's all about having fun really. But electric guitar became my main instrument. The OG was always fingerstyle guitar. So this is always what I come back to at the end of the day and this is what I'm most proud of. It's what I guess I identify with the most. Yeah. Then coming to TH, I pursued guitar, electric guitar, and I just think it's very fun that when you're playing music with your friends, you really have the liberty to play whatever instruments you want. And so I think that allowed me to pursue my interest in music as a hobby, of course.
Oh boy, there were so many periods in time where I felt, it really made me question whether this was for me, whether I was meant for this, right, as much as it is meant for me. Because machine learning, it's a bunch of math, right? It's a bunch of very abstract concepts, and if you don't get it initially, it's really demoralizing sometimes. And definitely there are times where you give up, right? You're like, okay, never mind, just keep this on the side. It's causing me a lot of mental headache. I'm doing a lot of mental gymnastics to understand this. And I guess I'm facing this even like in some of my classes at NUS, right? There's a whole bunch of new stuff to learn, and you just don't get it immediately. It takes time, it takes effort to pick it up naturally. So yeah, just go through the progressions. There'll always be the low points where you question things and question your own like self-worth and whether what you do is meant for you. But if you kind of just, I guess, shut up and sit down at the desk and really just muddle yourself through that, that really helps. Very soon you start finding enjoyment in it, and it moves from something you do because you have to do it into more of like a hobby or passion, and very soon into an aspiration.
Like it really was a pure hobby. Like I really just did it for fun. I enjoyed it so much, performing for my friends and stuff. Then eventually, somehow along the way, I met a few more people. Then people got to know me, I got to know them. Then slowly, we kind of got shows.
Ooh, where did you meet these?
So like there's a Facebook group. Like there are a few Facebook groups in Singapore. Where you can meet people.
Oh, you just
with
chance
interest.
upon the Facebook.
I'm very nerdy last time. I'll go to Facebook there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I think what was nice was I met my mentor one day when I was working in a startup. And then we were looking for interesting speakers. Yeah, his name is Alexander lah. Yeah, if you're listening, shout out to you. And he actually like saw some of my material and he enjoyed it. Yeah, so he put me into his company. Then now I'm working with him. Yeah, to do shows. We even went to Hong Kong and Vietnam to go before. Yeah, to do shows, and that was quite fun. I think one thing I did was cause back then I studied Polytechnic and we did I did an overseas internship there in Hong Kong. So in Hong Kong I was working for my intern. Over the weekend I would like catch up with friends. Then there was even this once like I was just casually talking to my friends landlord. Yeah, then the landlord asked me that they were hosting an event. And then he asked me if I would like to do a show for them. Yeah, I just got an overseas gig just like that. Yeah, so that was really fun. Yeah, I thought it was really exciting. Meeting all the different kind of people and performing in Cantonese and English. Okay, mostly English, but I think it's quite fun because Singapore itself is quite an international country. Yeah, and like I perform for so many expats, even in Singapore. Yeah. But I guess one big thing now is like cause of COVID, right? And everything is online. So most of my shows are virtual now. Yeah, I mean it can't be helped, but
Like I mentioned earlier, I joined a band in secondary school, right? So actually we continued that band on for at least a good 6-7 years. So we participated in a lot of actually it's quite yeah, we did. So we started, I mean from small slowly get bigger. Like the first few performances we had was just within school, carnival, lunchtime concerts, those kind of thing. And then we started to get invites to do charity concerts. And then we tried to up our music a bit more, the quality. At first it was just very chill music, but then we had to perform for concerts, so we had to put more effort into it. Charity concerts, yeah. So I can't remember exactly for which organization, but here and there. Then after that, we went for a competition in JC. I think it's called Voice of My Generation. Yeah, we went for a competition, then we also tried busking to raise funds in Orchard Road. And then recently this year, the Voice of My Generation also asked us to collab with them for other projects, some virtual concert or something. I mean, but the point is, getting out of my comfort zone and joining a band was a very big decision that I made in lower secondary, and that really changed a lot of my. It really affected my life a lot because it became my main CCA from then on. It became something for us to hone our skills, to perform, and spur each other on to be performers, which usually not very common, I would say, in Singapore. So yeah, it allowed us to pursue music in that aspect, which I was quite grateful to have.
I also actually participated in some Voice of My Generation busking in Orchard Road. Yeah, so that was the exposure that I say I wouldn't have if I didn't take up music. Then other than that, it's mainly for my own entertainment.
For me, it's when you're performing, you get a performing high. When you see the crowd and you're jamming with your buddies and you're making good music, and it's really a irreplaceable feeling that when you feel that all the cracks and all the problems are all worth it for the actual performance, because we all have fun performing to the audience.
Yeah, I sort of agree on that also, the performance high and everything. But more than that, I also feel that like the satisfaction of like the whole end product is also what drives, well, not only me, I'm sure that most performers will also feel very good about like having a end product that they can feel proud of. Like they've worked very hard for it, and then when they see it all coming together, that's a very good motivator, I would say.
Use a calendar software. I use Google Calendar. My entire life is on it. It's just so nice having something else keep track of your life so that you can like clear your head for a bunch of other things. Use Google Calendar as sort of a daily planner. Every single, even like a tiny event, even if it's like a lunch with a friend, right? Put it on Google Calendar. It'll really save you a lot of thinking time in terms of, am I forgetting that or whatever. And use reminders. Make sure to make full use of like the reminders app on your phone. You don't want to keep forgetting stuff, right? Especially as computing students, we have a billion things in our head. It's nice to have someone else remember for you.
Keeping on track.
Yeah. So there's that. Use Notion. Yes, Notion sponsorship. Yeah, where are we at? Yeah. A bunch of my friends love this app called Notion.
I think
It's a note-taking app. Yeah, I love Notion. It's really flexible. You can do a whole bunch of things on it. So yeah, download Notion, create an account. Yeah, your life will be awesome. Yes. I guess now I've kind of thought about big advice, or senior advice that I'd like to give. It's kind of like a spin-off of the whole Anything You Want by Derek Sivers book. Do things because they make you happy. And like a thing that I've seen from like my group or friends group here is that sometimes people tend to do things just for it, just because they want something from it, or because it becomes yet another bullet point in a resume, right? There's a lot of, resume chasing or whatever. Initially, sure, that's fine because you got to start from somewhere. But as you progress through your journey at SOC and beyond, do things selectively because it brings you a lot of happiness, because it brings you a lot of joy doing it, right? Because that's why we call it an interest, right? So do those kind of things. Then you'll find that you're so much more fulfilled in life and satisfied and contented with everything that's going on around. Yeah.
Because NUS is a very academic institution, right? It makes you study a lot and really think a lot about your craft. And what you do. So because of that, I also started to study a bit more about the concept and the theories of magic. There are tons of books out there. And I slowly start talking to more magicians about the concepts behind magic and why we do these things.
Was it like the people that you met in NUS?
Both inside and out. And it's just really interesting, Like they say there are 101 ways to make a coin vanish. But how are you going to do it and why would you do it that way?
Wow, so wise.
Yeah, so things like that. I think one thing that's very important is to always know what's important and have a
Priorities.
Something like a priority queue, as a computing student.
That's true.
I always call it a priority queue. So I think another thing that I also struggle with is health and fitness, because I like to exercise quite a lot. That's why I bought a bike. So now on top of, instead of taking the bus, I will cycle everywhere I go, and that's
a
my
good
exercise.
good advice for you.
For all you out there. I guess you just gotta balance, and if you really have no time, then sleep less.
Oh my
I'm
god.
sure everybody knows that, right? Just sleep less.
Wait.
I think one thing that really helps is my mom. Yeah, she loves to nag, so.
I would say it's more like a paradigm shift. Wow, that's a big word. So in secondary school and JC, I took music as a subject. So it was part of my life in a way that it's partly interest and also partly to get that A. But so ever since coming to SOC, there's no more of that requirement to practice, especially like keyboard and stuff. Piano, why did I say keyboard? Yeah, piano. Yeah, so now it's mainly just an interest thing.
Do you give music lessons on the side?
Yeah, on the side. I teach kids. Anyone want to learn piano? Feel free to contact me.
You should plug it, right? Wait, this piano,
This is my number.
Piano, right?
Yeah, piano.
I guess for now and in the short term, definitely I see myself doing these things and even pursuing all these kind of nightlife side interests.
Yeah.
So definitely for the next some time, maybe it could be months or years. But definitely I can't see the future. There'll be so many more interesting technologies that come out later on. I don't know what I'll fall in love with later on. So
Definitely, man. I think it's something that I really thoroughly enjoy, and it wouldn't hurt doing this next time also.
I think my answer will be shorter, so I'll go first. Because music is still a hobby for me, and since I played for very long, right, a lot of it is muscle memory. So if let's say I don't play it for a few months or what, it won't be difficult to come back to me because I've been playing it almost my whole life. So yeah, I definitely see myself in the future whenever I'm free. I can just play my favorite tunes or maybe even teach it to my offsprings.
Offspring.
Put images of Jinx, future children.
So yeah, he used paradigm shift. I'm trying to compete with him.
Paradigm shift.
Okay. I can only try it.
Chill.
Yeah.
other than it being a hobby, I think piano teacher is like a safety net, I guess.
Oh, you consider it as a job?
I have considered, but you know, this one make more money. This one make more money than this one.
You should talk about the blend.
Ideally I want to like find a job that sort of blends the two. So maybe creating software for like music making. Creating music making software. Right, what? Or the digital audio workstation. I mean, you can try, but there's a lot of good ones out there already. Then you got like Studio One, you got Ableton, you got Logic, all those. Maybe it can help to enhance the 101S.
That doesn't count lah. That doesn't count lah.
The emission. No, I never tried before. I rather go for like a safe career, and then like use the money I earn to fuel my hobby.